I keep saying it. I keep saying be you. And I know that you are and stuff because what's going on with you right now, and I see it. You're being rebuilt. You're being redefined. Saying what was great in you, it done came from the back and went to the front. Your greatness is starting to be expired because see, there's people that you're meeting along the way that are starting to look at you in a different way and stuff. And they may have looked at you in a way that okay, though she's a happy-go-lucky, don't nothing bother her or nothing. But saying they starting to see a different seed in you. What's different seed in you is that you got concerns. Saying you got reasons for life. A lot of times as we grow, we got more reasons for death than we do for life and stuff. The word life. So you just have to keep doing what you're doing because I really believe that God got you preparing you for something special. And I use that term. I say He's preparing you for something special because a lot of times we don't understand what's going on in our life until we get to a situation where we start calling on something other than what the world offers and stuff. It ain't that you have to be a saved individual to connect with God and stuff. Because if you understand it, Nick, God he really pushes people in a place where being on a center cord. When I say a center cord, is because like I said, if we always challenge the water cord and stuff, but there's a center cord. The center cord is that when we prepare ourselves to sin and stuff, and then we counteract that because we say, wait a minute, I'm not going to do this, or I refuse to keep on doing this and stuff. But see, it's just something that you got in you that causes you to change. It's something that you cause you to say that, look, I'm not going to keep on living at this standard and stuff. And I got greater standards and stuff. Say I was just telling someone the other day, and I told them just like the series. I ain't gonna talk on the gospel, but I told them the other day. I said, look here. I said that. You know what? When I first joined the ministry, I said, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, I said, then things are happening because your faith is grown. It means your faith is grown. That means you trust God enough to make something happen and trust Him enough as the grain of a mustard seed. I said, but look here, I'm 66 years old and I've been trusting the grain for so long and not understanding the seed. But that first, I say the grain came from the seed, and if you allow yourself to plant the seed, let the seed grow, because when the seed grows, there's fertilization period. And from fertilization, there's growth. What you're doing right now is that it was grain at one time and stuff, but see, when you adapted and released yourself from a situation in your life and stuff, what you did was you no longer depended on the grain anymore because the seed was still laying dormant. Seed was laying dormant because it needed foundation. When you decide to find foundation for the seed, that means that you planted it into good soil. That means you planted it into something that I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do what I want to do. You planted it in good soil. Because you planted it in good soil, now you begin to nurture that soil. What you do is you water it. Every time that you get on, you water that seed. And from that seed, there's sprouted up roots. There's roots of joy. There's roots of happiness. There's roots of questions being answered. There's a lot of roots that's coming out of this here. And from those roots becomes something bigger than that because it becomes something with great fruit. Because from that soil, from that seed becomes great fruit. And from the great fruit, there's other seeds that can be multiplied. That means somebody else along the way going to pick up on this here. And when they pick up on it, they're going to say, I want to do something just like this here. And what you done did, because you decided to plant that seed and get away from that grain, watch how your life develops and things change. It's not only just going to help you, it's going to help many others. It is already happening. Your seed is starting to take roots right now. I see it every time I listen to the podcast. I see it. So be thankful that you allowed yourself to get away from the grain of life and went to the seed of life. And that seed is a developing seed.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, that I can get away from all the other Christian things, but I just have to say it because, see, I witnessed it because that's what I did with my life. My life is, I was one way with it. I said, Lord, you say trust you, Lord. I'm going to trust you a little bit. I'm going to see if you don't work out, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to trust you a little bit. But at some point, at some point in time, you got to wake up. God gives you shelter. Once He gives you shelter and stuff, we look for something. We say, well, you gave me shelter. That comes from the grain and stuff. But guys, I'm waiting on you now. I showed you what I can do with the grade. Now you show me what you can do. You know what I'm saying? So you start being preparing yourself, and you find out, say, look here, bump all this grade stuff. I'm going to see. You know what I'm saying? Something. You know what I'm saying? Bump all this here silly stuff. I'm going to do something for myself. I'm gonna build on something. I'm gonna build on this podcast. I'm gonna make this podcast right. Don't you be distracted. Because, God still for all the small things. So don't you be distracted. Don't you let nobody shut you down for no reason. Because see what this is? You gonna have some struggles in the things that you're doing right now. Some people ain't gonna like it. I'm gonna have moments where you're gonna say, oh man, they can't get this right. Me and you tonight when we was trying to get on, we went through so many different things and stuff, but did you stop? You said, oh, I got another way. And that's how you got to do your podcast with the people that you got on here. You say, wait a minute, let's try this. Let me ask you this. And you doing a great job. Don't you let nobody shut you down. And don't you shut yourself down.
Thank you.
Yo, a feeling just came over me listening to him say that. Because this episode probably took place probably about a year ago. And as I'm listening to that and thinking about how much my life has changed from then to now, he spoke nothing but facts over my life. I had chills sitting here. That's why, like, if you was watching my face, like, that blew me away because he spoke nothing but facts over my life. But he just said that's exactly what happened. Because everything about my life from then to now has changed. Even that episode in particular is when the podcast took a bit of a turn. And like after that, that's when, I had Ashton come in, and Ashton came through with the intro. And then Trey came, and then Trey prayed over the podcast. And y'all have talked to Trey plenty of times. He was just on there last week with emerging business leaders. That's what this is the time where I was referring to, where I'm like, a year ago, we came and we talked about God's business plan. The facts are in the catalog. The story is in the catalog of this show. And, then we have episodes with like Key, and we talking about the beauty of faith and everything like that as I'm continuing to grow. And it's just like, my entire circle changed. The way I see myself changed. The way that I value myself changed. The way I hold myself changes. And even now it just clicks like, I'm about to do my first panel. And a year ago, I was trying to decide if this was for me, if this was something that I was meant to do. And it's crazy to think about because that's all I had. I had it. Like, I wrote it in one of my journals back in the time. I was like, God, y'all don't understand. I've had times where I'm talking to God and I'm like, God, I don't trust you. So if you think that people don't get it, I've had those conversations where I'm like, God, I know I'm supposed to trust you, but I am afraid to trust you. I am terrified to trust you, because what am I just supposed to sit here and think that you're supposed to show up for me? Am I really supposed to sit here and believe that you about to magically transform everything in my life? Because I can't see that. I don't see that vision. And I'm just supposed to sit here. So all I had at that time was a mustard seed. And from that mustard seed, it sprouted into something greater and bigger and truer. And that's why I can walk around today and I can tell God, like, I trust you with my career. I trust you with my relationships. I trust you with my family. I trust you with my life, because God has proved it to me with that mustard seed. So sometimes all you need is a mustard seed. As long as you keep a little bit of faith, just a little bit of faith, it's gonna get better. So when I say these things, it's not me just talking to talk. It's me talking because I've been there and I've experienced that, and I'm talking on my experience. I can't tell you what to do with your life. All I can tell you is what I've experienced, and that mustard seed brought me a long way, and it's going to continue to bring me a long way because it's changed me as a person. I'm telling you, because back then I wasn't a person that was ready for adversity. I wasn't a person that was ready to roll with the punches. I wasn't mature yet. I wasn't ready yet. And God ain't going to give you nothing until you ready. Absolutely nothing until you ready. So hold on to that mustard seed. Even if you have just a mustard seed of hope, that's all you need. and just keep on trying with it. A little bit of faith. It's okay to not always have it sometimes. That's why you have to build a relationship with God. You have to build a relationship with God, and you have to actually walk with them to actually understand, because otherwise it's just going to be words, and otherwise it's just going to be things that you can't see. And what do you want somebody to tell you? What do you want? How can anybody show you anything? How are you going to believe what it is that I'm saying if you don't try? How is it that you're going to believe what God is saying if you don't ever try? He can't give you anything unless you try faith. All you have to do is try faith. All you have to do is take one step, one action, one motive, do one thing that you're being directed to do, and watch how your life changes. See, this is why this is my favorite episode.